ASMR that you need tonight. I am in my pajamas and going to help you relax, help you unwind after a long week, help you feel good with lots and lots of personal attention, among other little bits and bobs. So feel free to close your eyes, or you can keep them open as well, whether you're seated or standing up. Just want you to relax, okay? Good. So just take some deep breaths for me. Breathe in and out. And out, and in, and out. There. Just in case you're holding any little bits of stress, any little niggles that you needed to let go of. So, all my candles set up there so that they can just gently crackle in the background, if you can hear that. And this we will use a little bit later in your scalp. But first, I would like it to count your freckles. That's right. Just wanna have a look at your face, and I want to count with this touch each freckle that you've got, and hopefully it'll make you feel relaxed. Okay, I'm going to start on this side, your right side of your face. 1, 2, 3, 4, is my lucky number, so that's a good sign. That means that we're gonna get you to sleep in no time. Of course, you have to wear a mask. This is not just any mask. This is a soothing sheet mask with lotus flower. And this has Q10, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin E. And it's gonna make you feel so soothed and revitalized. We're gonna put this on, even if it's just for 5 minutes or so. There's the base. I can already smell it. It's got little cracks. Okay. This is the top half. And then this is the bottom half. So let's put the bottom half on first. There we are. It's cold, isn't it? Okay. There. And then the top half. So we're just gonna fit this around your eyes. So that goes on your head. And that goes there. Pop this under. And around like so. Okay, that there, and I thought very gently just roller it in like this on your face. It just helps really stick it down and get all the good stuff into your skin, into your pores. How does that feel? Good. Well, we're gonna leave that on for a little bit, okay? And while we leave that on, I'm going to read you some very interesting facts about sleep. That's right. Here we go. I just opened it at random. 10 steps to a good night's sleep. Okay, paying attention. Sometimes referred to as sleep hygiene. These small steps can make the world of difference to your sleep experience. Number 1, your sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at consistent times every day, including weekends. If you ever take a nap, do not do it after 3 p.m. I'm a big fan of napping, by the way. 20 minutes a day can do a world of good for you. Just, that's my own little snippet of advice. Okay, number 2. I'm also a big believer in this. Get outside every single day. Expose yourself to plenty of daylight in the day to help tweak your body's inbuilt clock for sleep. And this one is so true. I know myself that, see, when you have those lazy days, or those days where you're not outside or in the house all day, when you go to bed, I always find it so much harder to go to sleep if I've not had that little bit of daylight, of that exercise. So I'm very much for that. Number 3, cool down. Take an evening bath. It'll make you feel toasty, but it will actually help lower your core body temperature and dial down the radiators in your bedroom to between 16 degrees and 18 degrees. I'd love a bath. I don't have one in this house at the moment, but hopefully I'll get one soon. Number 4, get physical. Regular exercise literally does tire you out, but leaving it until late in the evening has the reverse effect. Don't exercise within 3 hours of your bedtime. Good little tip there for all you late night exercise buddies. Then check your caffeine intake. Caffeine can interfere with your body's natural sleepiness, and if you're sensitive to its effects, avoid caffeine-containing drinks and chocolate. I'm really bad with wanting a piece of chocolate before bed, and that is definitely something I need to cut out. Number 6, dim the lights. Avoid bright lights in the evenings, especially the blue light of LED devices, to help your body listen to its melatonin sleep trigger. That's another one for me. I think having little lamps on and just really low lights, or even just a candle, just helps you get into that kind of mood of feeling sleepy. Number 7, I think this is easier said than done. Let go of worries. A bedside duo of pen and notebook allows you to write down worries or urgent to-dos so you can unwind and focus on falling asleep instead of fretting about tomorrow. I am a big believer in writing down your to-do list and just keeping it beside your bed, because that's something that I know keeps me awake. 8, skip the nightcap. Alcohol before bed disrupts your deep sleep, so you'll wake up feeling unrefreshed. This is so true. I never have good sleep when I have drank the evening before. Number 9, schedule screen-free time. If you need to check your email one last time or quickly catch up on social media, make sure the last time you do it is 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. Keep those last hours before sleep sacrosanct. I'm really bad for this. Like, sometimes I'll just end up like researching things or looking things up just before bed. And finally, number 10, relax. Find what works for you to de-stress, be it meditation, breathing exercises, podcasts, a sleep story, ASMR, or just settling down with a good book. Beautiful. I love this one. I'll just read this next little bit. It's really short. It says, sensational sleep solutions. Essential oils are the potent distilled forms of all kinds of flowers. Such botanical scents have long been known for their natural beneficial powers, for relaxing you such as rose, geranium or jasmine, or pepping you up such as eucalyptus or methanol, for instance. But there's another well-known essential oil with its long-loved calming qualities, which can help your body relax and a buzzing mind unwind, ready for sleep to arrive, and that is lavender. Oh. I'll read this. This is an extract from the Stephen Fry You'll smell it before you even see it. That unmistakable aroma that fills your nose and seeps into your senses, instantly mellowing into a smooth and soothing scent. You breathe deeply, inhaling and exhaling this floral cloud, and as you do, something unexplained washes over you. Slowly at first, you feel your body begin to release its pent-up tension. Your breath becomes deeper, deliberate, calm. Inexplicably, those deep lines in your furrowed brow, one by one, unfurl as you slowly and gently begin to relax. The scent is lavender. Oh, I just love that so much. Alright, let's get this off you now. Take this one down. This one. Okay. Oh, it's so cold and gooey. Alright, there. This is gonna hopefully feel really nice, but I'm going to just gently give your ears a little clean, along with using this really nice lotion. This one here, okay. So I'm going to just come up here and give them a little clean first. I'm gonna move your hair out the way. Okay. Just gently da. Okay. Now, I want you to close your eyes. I'm gonna read you a bedtime story about the selfish giant. If I can find it. See if I can find it. I think I missed it. I knew I had. The Selfish Giant by Oscar Wilde. Bedtime story. Okay. Settle in. Every afternoon, as they were coming from school, the children used to go and play in the giant's garden. It was a lovely large garden with soft green grass. Here and there over the grass stood beautiful flowers like stars, and there were 12 peach trees that in the summertime broke out into delicate blossoms of pink and pearl, and in the autumn bore rich fruit. The birds sat on the trees and sang so sweetly that the children used to stop their games in order to listen to them. "How happy we are here," they cried to each other. One day the giant came back. He'd been to visit his friend, the Cornish ogre, and had stayed with him for 7 years. After the 7 years were over, he had said all that he had to say, for his conversation was limited, and he determined to return to his own castle. When he arrived, he saw the children playing in the garden. "What are you doing here?" he cried, in a very gruff voice, and the children ran away. "My own garden is my own garden," said the giant. "Anyone can understand that, and I will allow nobody to play in it but myself." So he built a high wall all around it, put up a sign that said, "Trespassers will be prosecuted." He was a very selfish giant. The poor children had now nowhere to play. They tried to play on the road, but the road was very dusty and full of hard stones. They did not like it. They used to wander round the high wall when their lessons were over and talk about the beautiful garden inside. "How happy we were there," they said to each other. Then the spring came, and all over the country there were little blossoms and little birds. Only in the garden of the selfish giant it was still winter. The birds did not care to sing in it, as there were no children, and the trees forgot to blossom. Once a beautiful flower put its head out from the grass, but when it saw the notice board, it was so sorry for the children that it slipped back into the ground again and went off to sleep. The only people who were pleased were the snow and the frost. "Spring has forgotten this garden," they cried, "so we will live here all year round." The snow covered up the grass with her great white cloak, and the frost painted all the trees silver. Then they invited the north wind to stay with them, and he came. He was wrapped in furs, and he roared all day about the garden and blew the chimney pots down. "This is a delightful spot," he said. "We must ask the hail on a visit." So the hail came. Every day for 3 hours he rattled on the roof of the castle till he broke most of the slates, and then he ran around and around the garden as fast as he could go. He was dressed in grey and his breath was like cannot understand why the spring is so late in coming," said the selfish giant, as he sat at the window and looked out at the cold white garden. "I hope there will be a change in the weather." But the spring never came, nor the summer. The autumn gave gold fruit to every garden, but to the giant's garden she gave none. "He is too selfish," she said, so it was always winter there, and the north wind and the hail and the frost and the snow danced about through the trees. One morning the giant was lying awake in bed when he heard some lovely music. It sounded so sweet to his ears that he thought it really must be the king's musicians passing by. It was really only a little linnet singing outside his window, but it was so long since he'd heard a bird sing in his garden that it seemed to him to be the most beautiful music in the world. Then the hail stopped dancing over his head, and the north wind ceased roaring, and a delicious perfume came to him through the open casement. "I believe the spring has come out at last," said the giant, and he jumped out of bed and looked out. What did he see? He saw a most wonderful sight. Through a little hole in the wall, the children had crept in, and they were sitting in the branches of the trees. Every tree that he could see, there was a little child, and the trees were so glad to have the children back again that they covered themselves with blossoms and were waving their arms gently above the children's heads. The birds were flying about, twittering with delight, and the flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing. It was a lovely scene. Only in one corner was still winter. It was the farthest corner of the garden, and in it was standing a little boy. He was so small that he could not reach up to the branches of the tree, and he was wandering around, crying bitterly. The poor tree was still quite covered with frost and snow, and the north wind was blowing and roaring above it. "Climb up, little boy," said the tree, and it bent its branches down as low as it could, but the boy was too tiny, and the giant's heart melted as he looked out. "How selfish I have been," he said. "Now I know why the spring would not come here. I will put that little boy on the top of the tree, and I will knock down the wall, and my garden shall be the children's playground forever and ever." He was really very sorry for what he had done. So he crept downstairs, opened the front door quite softly, and went out into the garden. But when the children saw him, they were so frightened that they all ran away, and the garden became winter again. Only the little boy did not run, for his eyes were so full of tears that he did not see the giant coming. And the giant stole him up behind him, took him gently by his hand, and put him up on the tree. And the tree broke out at once into blossom, and the birds came and sang on it. And the little boy stretched out his two arms and flung them around the giant's neck and kissed him. And the other children, when they saw that the giant was no longer wicked, came running back, and with them came spring. "It is your garden now, little children," said the giant, and he took a great axe and knocked down the wall. And when the people were going to market at 12 o'clock, they found the giant playing with the children in the most beautiful garden they'd ever seen. All day long they played, and in the evening they came to the giant to bid him goodbye. "But where is your little companion?" he said. "The boy I put into the tree." The giant loved him the best because he had kissed him. "We don't know," answered the children. "He has gone away." "You must tell him to be sure to come here tomorrow," said the giant. But the children said they did not know where he lived, and had never seen him before, and the giant felt very sad. Every afternoon, when the school was over, the children came and played with the giant, but the little boy whom the giant loved was never seen again. The giant was very kind to all the children, yet he longed for his first little friend, and often spoke of him. "How I would like to see him," he used to say. Years went over, and the giant grew very old and feeble, He could not play about any more, so he sat in a huge armchair and watched the children at their games and admired his garden. I have many beautiful flowers, he said, but the children are the most beautiful flowers of all. One winter morning he looked out of his window as he was dressing. He did not hate the winter now, for he knew that it was merely the spring asleep, and the flowers were resting. Suddenly he rubbed his eyes in wonder, and looked and looked. It certainly was a marvellous sight. In the farthest corner of the garden was a tree quite covered with lovely white blossoms. Its branches were all golden, and silver fruit hung down from them, and underneath it stood the little boy he had loved. Downstairs ran the giant in great joy, and out into the garden. He hastened across the grass and came near to the child, and when he came quite close, his face grew red with anger, and he said, "Who hath dared to wound thee?" From the palms of the child's hands were the prints of 2 nails, and the prints of 2 nails were on the little feet. "Who hath dared to wound thee?" cried the giant. "Tell me that I may take my big sword and slay him." "Nay," answered the child, "but these are the wounds of love." "Who art thou?" said the giant, and a strange awe fell on him, and he knelt before the little child. And the child smiled on the giant and said to him, "You let me play once in your garden. Today you shall come with me to my garden, which is paradise." And when the children ran in the afternoon, they found the giant